This wasn't just another first-round victory. This wasn't just another player surviving opening round pressure. And this definitely wasn't one of those matches that disappears from the timeline after a few highlights and a final score graphic. Because in less than 80 minutes, Alex Eala may have changed the way the tennis world looks at her. And that's the part people shouldn't ignore. Everyone will talk about the score. Everyone will post the stats. Everyone will say she won. But the bigger story isn't that she won. The bigger story is what this win means. Because some victories count in rankings. And some victories announce arrival. This one felt different. Wimbledon is not a normal tournament. It's not just another stop on the calendar. The pressure is different. The expectations are different. The spotlight is different. Players walk onto that court knowing every point means more. Every mistake looks bigger. Every moment feels heavier. And for many players, especially younger players, the first challenge isn't even the opponent. It's handling the stage. That's why this performance matters. Because Alex Eala didn't look overwhelmed. She didn't look intimidated. She didn't look like someone simply happy to be there. She looked comfortable. She looked prepared. She looked like she expected to win. And that changes everything. When a player steps onto one of the biggest stages in tennis and carries herself with that kind of confidence, people notice. Fans notice. Coaches notice. Opponents notice. And most importantly, the locker room notices. Because tennis is a strange sport. Respect doesn't always come from rankings. Sometimes respect comes from presence. From the feeling that somebody belongs. And during this match, that feeling started becoming impossible to ignore. What made this performance stand out wasn't chaos. It wasn't impossible highlight shots. It wasn't emotional survival. It was control. That's what made it feel different. There was structure. There was calm. There was confidence. Point after point, there was very little panic. Very little rushing. Very little desperation. That's not something people always expect from a player making a major appearance. But that's exactly why people started paying attention. Because when younger players arrive at this level, there's often excitement. But excitement alone doesn't scare anyone. Execution does. And this looked like execution. Now here's where the story becomes bigger than one match. For years, tennis fans have been obsessed with finding the next breakout star. Every tournament becomes a search. Every good run becomes a prediction. But real breakthroughs usually don't happen with giant speeches or dramatic declarations. They happen quietly. One performance. One moment. One match where people suddenly stop asking, "Who is she?" and start asking, "How far can she go?" That shift matters. Because expectations create attention. Attention creates pressure. And pressure reveals whether something is temporary or real. That's why this Wimbledon win feels important. Not because one match changes an entire career. It doesn't. Tennis doesn't work like that. One win doesn't make someone a champion. One performance doesn't guarantee future titles. But one performance can absolutely change perception. And perception changes opportunity. Now people watch differently. Now opponents prepare differently. Now media coverage changes. Now conversations become bigger. And that's where things start moving. What stood out most wasn't just the result. It was how composed she looked. Young players often try to force moments. They chase highlights. They overplay. They let emotions decide points. But there's something dangerous about players who stay calm. Because calm players make fewer mistakes. Calm players adapt faster. Calm players become difficult to break. And that's the type of energy this performance gave. It looked controlled. It looked intentional. It looked like somebody who trusted her game. That doesn't mean perfection. No player is perfect. There were moments that still remind everyone this journey is developing. But the overall message stayed the same. This wasn't survival. This looked like belief. And belief changes careers. Because once players truly believe they belong, everything starts changing. Decision-making becomes cleaner. Movement becomes freer. Pressure becomes smaller. And suddenly matches that once felt impossible start feeling normal. That's why confidence is dangerous. Not because confidence wins matches, but because confidence unlocks what players are already capable of. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from this performance. Not the score. Not the headlines. The confidence. Because confidence at Wimbledon hits differently. You don't fake comfort on that stage. You don't accidentally look composed. You either handle the moment, or the moment handles you. And for long stretches of this match, it looked like Alex Eala handled the moment. Now the next question becomes obvious. What happens next? Because this is where things become difficult. Breakthrough moments are exciting. Staying there is harder. Now expectations grow. Now opponents study patterns. Now every match becomes another test. That's where careers are built. The challenge is no longer proving you can win. The challenge becomes proving that winning belongs in your routine. Consistency, adjustment, execution. That's the real next level. But moments like this matter because they create belief. Not only inside the player, but outside. People begin watching with different eyes. And maybe that's already started happening. Because after this performance, the conversation feels different. This doesn't feel like people asking whether she can compete. Now people want to know where the ceiling is. And that question alone tells you something changed. Because dangerous players aren't always the loudest. Sometimes the most dangerous players are the ones who improve quietly. The ones who don't announce themselves. The ones who just keep winning until people suddenly realize, wait, when did this happen? And maybe that's what makes this Wimbledon moment feel important. Not because everything changed overnight, but because something may have started. A signal, a warning, a reminder. That rankings tell one story, but momentum tells another. And when confidence, preparation, and opportunity collide, new names enter the conversation fast. So no, this wasn't just another first-round victory. It wasn't just another result. It wasn't just another Wimbledon appearance. It felt like something more. It felt like a player stepping onto one of the biggest stages in tennis and making people look twice. And if the progress continues, this may end up being remembered as more than a win. It may be remembered as the moment people realized Alex Eala wasn't arriving anymore. She had arrived. But here's the thing most people miss when they watch tennis. They think breakthroughs happen when somebody lifts a trophy. They think greatness begins with a title ceremony. Most of the time, it doesn't. Most of the time, greatness begins much earlier. It begins in moments that only serious fans recognize. Moments where a player suddenly starts carrying themselves differently. Moments where matches stop looking emotional and start looking intentional. And that's what made this Wimbledon performance interesting. Because there's a difference between playing well and making people feel like this level belongs to you. That second feeling is powerful. And it's difficult to explain unless you watch tennis closely. There are players who can win matches. Then there are players who make everyone watching think, this doesn't look temporary. That feeling doesn't come from one highlight. It comes from body language, from shot selection, from movement, from the ability to reset after mistakes, from not rushing, from making difficult situations look normal. And during this match, there were moments where that feeling started showing. Now imagine being in that position. You step onto one of the most historic courts in sports. Millions of people watching. Commentators analyzing every decision. Social media ready to overreact to every point. And yet, you still have to perform. You still have to trust your instincts. You still have to execute. That's why people outside tennis sometimes underestimate these moments. Physically, many players are close. Mentally, that's where separation happens. Because talent gets you onto the court. Mindset decides what happens once you get there. And this performance felt mentally strong. Not loud. Not dramatic. Strong. That matters. Because confidence in professional tennis isn't built from speeches. It's built from evidence. You win difficult points. You survive pressure. You execute under attention. And eventually your brain starts accepting something new. I belong here. That sentence changes everything. Because once athletes believe they belong, they stop asking permission. They stop playing carefully. They stop trying to impress. They start competing. And competing players become dangerous. This is also where expectations become complicated. Because after a moment like this, people want immediate results. People want the next round, the next upset, the next headline. But development rarely moves in straight lines. There will be difficult matches. There will be losses. There will be moments where momentum disappears. That happens to everybody. The real question isn't, can momentum disappear? The real question is, what remains after the excitement is gone? And that's what makes the next phase interesting. Can confidence stay? Can identity stay? Can belief stay? Because if those things remain, progress usually follows. And that's why performances like this matter, even if they don't end with trophies.